What's up, guys? This is Dylan.
And I'm Lydia.
We're here for Broken Pictures. That website is www.broken.pictures.com. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about Westworld Season 2, Episode 2. Some crazy stuff happened this episode. Also this week, this probably going to just be short and sweet because we're a little behind playing some catch-up. Season 8 of The Walking Dead, we covered that, and it ended. And the very next week, Westworld started up, and I ordered a brand new computer to help me edit a lot faster, and it's working, but it's just kind of a chore to set up and everything, and so I'm a little bit behind on my editing and cutting videos and stuff, but catching up. Should be caught up this week. Episode 3 came out this week. We're going to do Episode 2. But we're going to do our best not to spoil anything from Episode 3 into this episode. So, here we go. So, the episode starts out. You got Dolores and Bernard talking, and Dolores is kind of...
You got Dolores and Arnold talking.
Arnold, that's right. Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, yeah. So the future world theory has been debunked. That is not future world they're in. It's definitely a flashback, but they are in the city. It looks like from the writing and everything, it looks like that they're off the island on the Chinese mainland or Hong Kong or somewhere around that area. Because we learned last episode from the Chinese Marines or the Army or whoever that was that Carl was speaking to, that of course they're on one of the islands that China owns, but Delos has a contract with them, and Delos, for all intents and purposes, owns it. So everything hit the fan, and the Chinese military showed up to check on their island, and but this flashback is in the real world and off Delos land, one of the Delos destinations. It's off of there. And hey, this is Ghost, by the way. He's probably going to jump around here. Don't mind him and his tail whacking me in the back of the head. He doesn't seem to mind. Dolores, one of the theories said that potentially Dolores was a flashback, and Dolores was based off of somebody they knew. That could still be up in the air, but at this point, they've brought the hosts to the mainland to pitch them to Delos at this point. And from what we know about Logan and William talking last season, and some of the stuff that happened this episode, where William was talking to Mr. Delos, I forgot his name. James Delos, I'm not sure. But Westworld is about to sink, and they're not doing so hot. They need a backer. And William, after his excursion, I'm getting ahead of myself again. This flashback is before Logan has even gone to the park, and they're selling to Logan. Two of the hosts, Angela and I can't remember his name, go up, and Logan is none the wiser and thinks that they're pitching Westworld, and he kind of, is being himself with him. And they take him to the room, and several of them are there, and he can't tell the difference. And then he realizes that Angela is a host, and he flips his wig. There's no way. This is impossible. We're not there yet. So that kind of puts the time frame, because Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy have said that this is just a little bit in the future. So this is kind of like where I guess the Bernard and Ford have made a huge jump in artificial intelligence that nobody was expecting. It's if like Apple came out with an Android. That's funny, an Android device from Apple. But anyways, yeah, you don't think it's funny. Anyways, I like my cheesy jokes. But anyway, so yeah, if say like somebody out of the blue, Disney World came out with like for real androids or something like that out of the blue, and so Logan is apparently on top of his tech, and he's blown away by this, and gets a personal little personal example from Angela, and so then that leads to some of the story that we saw last year, where Logan has been to the park several times, and he brings William, and then it catches up again where William has now been to the park and had his transition to the dark side, and there's what James Delos calls, basically looks like a coronation to him, but he is stepping down from the company, and it looks like he's sick from something, and possibly they're working on some kind of cure or something to help him out. But William has taken over, and there's a little bit of animosity to where there's a bit of a challenge, and James isn't quite ready to step down. But there's also another. I'm jumping around crazy like here. Sorry, because I'm trying to get through this. But there's the other scene where William is pitching it to James, and they are going to start tracking data. Basically, what Facebook just got in trouble for, but that they were hacked and everything. And Ghost is kicking me in the back. He's scratching. You done, buddy? Are you done? Thanks, appreciate that. So yeah, they're going to start tracking data and just like Facebook and Google and everybody nowadays. So that's pretty relevant material right there, and only in real time. And not only that, but all of our bad things that we're into and all that kind of crazy stuff. So James sees the virtue in that, and jumps on with him, and William even challenges him there for a minute, and James kind of like, there's not a man alive who would talk to me like that, and but it earns his respect, and he says, okay, I'm listening, talk to me. And so from that, it looks like William has built, based on what the Man in Black said, he's built something that the Man in Black now regrets. But when William is showing Dolores, when he's showing Dolores, he says that it's like the greatest thing, or it's beautiful, or whatever, and which is in sharp contrast to what Arnold was showing Dolores before, because they dropped the it doesn't look like anything to me line, where people kind of, it's how Arnold started to see the beauty in the robots, that that childlike wonder like he had with his son. He sees that in them, and but now Dolores is in a completely different place, and nothing like Arnold intended. And I saw in an interview with the guy that plays Hector, and he was talking about how some of the hosts, there's that mosquito hawk, it just flew right by my head. So there's the hosts are basically waking up, and they're dealing with being alive and all these emotions and everything that like a child would be. So they're very childlike in that way. And so they're dealing with all this, but they're adults, and they have all this built-in memory, and so they're dealing with a lot, and all these characters that they've played before, and there's just compound stuff that they're dealing with right now. And Dolores is very upset about it. She's very angry, kind of taking it out. Bernard doesn't seem to be having the same experience. Seems to be siding with the humans on this so far. But Teddy, I think, is a wild card. She brings Teddy downstairs and kind of shows him what had happened to him, and opens his eyes. And he responds at first very angrily. He's very upset, chokes the guy out, almost kills him. But I wonder how Teddy is going to end up responding, because, as we saw last episode, Teddy's in the water. He's a goner. But his last program, the last storyline, he went up against Wyatt. And, of course, Dolores was Wyatt. And they kind of had it out, and he chose to go against Wyatt because he thought what she was doing is wrong, or what he was doing, or whatever, what Dolores / Wyatt was doing, he didn't agree with. So now he's got another choice. So basically, because Dolores is out there killing and scalping and acting a fool, and taking out her revenge, and basically being Wyatt all over again. And so I wonder how Teddy's going to come down on that, what he's going to do. So that'll be interesting to see. So then it's also interesting that the different factions, it's kind of like Lord of the Flies, where now that everything is chaos, all these different factions have popped up inside of Westworld. And we've got the Confederados, we've got Dolores's group, we've got Maeve and her band of merry misfits. And then there's Lonzo, the group that Lonzo has. So the Man in Black goes after him and gets the guy that played Lonzo previously to help him, kind of show him around the park. And so they go and they talk to Lonzo, and Lonzo tells him the story. Basically he's not interested in going on quests. And if you look at it from the Man in Black's point of view, this is a lot like a video game where he's finished the final quest and he's not satisfied. He finished the game, not very satisfied, so he's looking for extra quests. He's looking for more. It's like when you finish Skyrim and you just can't. You got to have more Skyrim, and they come up with the extra quests, and you play those, and you just want more Skyrim. So they re-release it in a better quality, and you play it all over again. So anyways, so the Man in Black is obsessed with this game, and he goes and he's itching for this other quest, and gets the guy, and he goes to visit Lonzo, and he's trying to gain an army so that he can fight and get through his quest a lot more efficiently. Well, Lonzo tells him the story that he's done all the quests. He's found nothing at the end. He's not satisfied. He's not interested. Tells him the story about the elephant, where this great animal can be held in place by such a tiny stake. And basically, it seems like he's describing himself. He's not interested in going on quests. He's satisfied. He's done. And so he tells me, well, you might not go, but I'm going to take your man. And that's when Ford steps in, who has designed this extra quest for the Man in Black, and tells him, hey, nope, you got to go it alone, and has all of the men surrounding commit suicide. And so takes them out of the equation. And then, of course, Lonzo kills himself as well. However, he's allowing the guide.
Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence, the guide for the Man in Black. You're really tired, aren't you? She's really tired. She works a lot of hours. She's opening a restaurant still. But I appreciate you being here with me. It makes me feel better, like I'm not just talking to an empty room. Anyways, so the Man in Black is on a quest, and he got shot in the arm. So he goes and just like a video game, goes and finds a health pack in the wall somewhere, busts out the wall and finds a health pack, and starts talking about God and all this stuff. And there's a lot of symbolism when Dolores goes and obtains the Confederados to build her army. They walk up, and they're basically sitting at what looks like the Last Supper, and the leader of the Confederados is sitting in the middle, and they refuse to join. She kills them all, and then she resurrects him from the dead. And so there's a lot of religious iconography in this show, and especially you're getting like one video compared when Dolores showed Teddy the underground bunker, that basically it was kind of like when Eve gave Adam the apple, and they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And so of course it's like, of course now mankind is God, and Dolores said, well, I've killed God. She killed Ford, and now she's basically taken the place of their type of Messiah. And it's a whole new group of people that mankind has created rising up. And how are they going to respond? What kind of people are they going to be? They're figuring it out, and it's messy, and it's bloody, and it's ugly. But there's a little light of truth and a little light of positivity in there somewhere. Just keep watching. It's not going to always be dark. It's going to be going somewhere. I really like this. It's not so much a Western. It's more definitely sci-fi. Somebody asked me earlier today, or said that they had seen season 1 and watched the first episode of season 2 and just like, I'm not really here for that. It stopped being a Western, and that's what I was interested in. Well, it wasn't really a Western to begin with, just in case you didn't know. It's a lot of things. And it's very complicated, so watch the show, and we'll figure it out the best we can, and we'll figure it out together. Comment below what you think. If you saw something that we didn't see, there's tons of Easter eggs in this show. Another guy I was pitching the show to earlier today and was like, I really like shows with Easter eggs. I was like, well, this one is an Easter egg palooza. From secret trailers to all kinds of crazy stuff going on, So just keep watching, and we'll keep watching together. It's a really interesting show. I'm excited to see where it's going. And thanks for watching episode 2 of the Broken World. Almost said Broken Dead. That's our our Walking Dead show. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. But anyways, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Peace.